Liron here. Let me know you can hear me. First things first. I got a different set of headphones today, so they really isolate everything on the outside. It's funny, I really hear myself without monitoring the audio. So I'm gonna let some people come in. I'm gonna monitor your comments here on my trusty iPad. Thank you so much. We have 11 people on board. Let me see who's here. Chris, hello, Liron. Now I can watch you live as we in the UK are now in lockdown, so no work for me for 4 weeks. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I heard about that second lockdown in the UK. Yes, perfect. Thank you, John. Thank you for letting me know you can hear me. I really appreciate it. I'm doing great. Thank you so much for asking. So I actually have a confession to make. I always start preparing for the lives like in the last minute. So I have to put everything together. I have to bring my computer over here so you can see me in this camera, and also set up this camera up top. It's really something, and I'm always just cutting it close to the deadline. Then I go live just on time. So here's the thing. I'm gonna let some people in. Let me know in the comments where you're from, and I'm gonna start reading them. I really hope the quality will be good today. I did increase the resolution to 1080 because from the last time I learned that the resolution does not affect like at all the quality of the stream. So I decided to just go with the high resolution, and hopefully everything is going to work out. Last week we had a bunch of trouble, and let's switch to my face here. We had a bunch of trouble, and so I just hope today goes a little smoother. So thank you so much for joining. Let's see who's in the house. We have John, we have Bruce Gamberling, we have Chris, obviously, from the UK, Bruce from Houston, Texas, Roseanne Nallowy, hello from New York. We have John, thank you so much, I'm doing great. Julian L, greetings from Hamburg. Lab Painter from Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia. Sounds beautiful. Who else do we have? Atelier Kapichova, I believe. Kapichova. Hi from Czech Republic. Chris from the UK. Rita Prahl from Minnesota. Mel B. Yes, excited to paint with you. I was just about to paint, but putting it off because lazy, but this is a great motivation. Yeah, I hope you'll paint immediately after the stream. Just a note to give you while people are getting in the chat and into the video, I did put in a link in the description box. Let me show you this so you can see my drawing, and if you want to quickly sketch it out and paint with me, feel free to. I have again skipped the drawing stage for the live just because I feel like it'll be a little hard for me, honestly, to focus on both things. It's hard enough while filming, so while doing, like actually talking to you live, it's going to be a challenge. So I decided to skip that. My apologies. You can find the drawing stage and a reference photo that you can also see there. You can find everything in a link in the description box. Let's see who else is in the house. Mel is from Indonesia. Art Kusaro from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Hi from Korea. I can't pronounce your name, unfortunately, but hi. So good to have someone from Korea. Stream looks good. Thank you, Roseanne. I hope it stays good. Evelina, how are you? Hello. Artuber Vlogs, hi from India. Sayan Patnaik from India. Kito from Malaysia. Evelina from Greece. Lamp Painter, first time watching live. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. So let me say a few words about what we're going to do today. And while I talk, I would really appreciate it if you just drop a like on the live stream. It really helps it get to more people and just get more notifications for more people. So thank you so much. So we can have some action going on here. Here's what I want to do today. We're going to paint this scene, this boat scene. I put the reference already there for you, there for you. We're just going to go for it. We're going to have fun with the process. Honestly, the challenge with watercolor is that you never really know what you're gonna get. All you can do is go for it, hope for the best. So I can't guarantee, unlike a video I film in advance, I can't guarantee that it's gonna be any good. So you'll have to enjoy the way, and that's just part of life. That's how it is. I would say that out of every, let's say, 10 given paintings I make, there are quite a lot that I don't like as much. That's fine, you know, and other people will see them and say, oh, it's really good. It's like, I don't know what you're complaining about. That's life. It's really something. Everyone sees things differently. So just letting you know. Itamar Shani says, hi, בהצלחה, Itamar, מה נשמע? Felicia Ann, hey from Lisbon. Lab painter in a slump, hoping this will inspire me. Well, I sure hope so, lab painter. The time difference is a bit wonky because the last live video I did, I set it up here to 4 p.m. Israel time. Now the problem is that we moved our clock and it stayed the same, for example, in the US and other places. So what ended up happening was I said it's going to be 9 a.m. Eastern. It actually ended up being 10 a.m. Eastern. Was it 10? Yeah, 10. So now we're on time. Everyone moved their clocks. So yeah, thank you so much, Roseanne. We know it will be good. I really appreciate it. Daiji Shinomori, hello, my friend. How are you? So let's just get to it. I'm gonna look at what you write down in the chat. I can do both things simultaneously, hopefully. So we'll get started. I have my palette here. This is a really cool one. So you can see here, it's a Paul Rubens pink palette that they actually sent me. And I actually like the colors in here. I enjoyed using them a lot, and I've been painting with them a lot. In the past, I kind of do an on and off kind of thing. I paint, I stop. Now, the cool part about this palette is, and everyone always asks what colors I use, the fun part for me with this palette is that I don't know what colors I use. Why? Because I have a bunch of primary colors. They came with it. I did not set this one up. So you have a lemon yellow, you have a new gamboge, you have a bit of a warmer yellow, I have an orange, I have a warm red, a cool red, a very cool red. There's some sepia here, I believe, a bunch of blues. To be honest with you, I don't even remember what every color is. This palette, and you can see here, hopefully it can focus a bit, you can see it's written in Chinese. And the thing is, yeah, this camera sucks. I'm going to show you like that. So you can see it says Chinese, something Chinese under Paul Rubens. And the brochure that came with it was actually in Chinese. So I don't know what every color is. I never knew. But we're painting with it anyway. This is cool because it allows you, you know, I always say minimal palette, focus on just the values and let the colors kind of do their thing. With this, it's kind of the other way around. I just have a lot of colors and all I care about is the temperature. So I'll just think, do I want a warm or a cool red? Obviously, I'm using more of the warm red. You can see here more of the warm yellow. But yeah, it's just a lot of fun to have this kind of a setup. Just go crazy with it, you know. So this is why I like this palette. I used to paint a lot outside with it too. So let's see what else we have here in the messages. Tan Mike from Singapore, or Rutrut, it's my first time to meet you. Haifa, Israel, cool. Nancy G, hello from Akron, Ohio. Love these get-togethers, thank you. Thank you for joining in, 51 people in the house. Aman Prajapati, hello sir, I'm from India. Daiji Shinomori, am feeling a little sucky about my work, so your statement about everyone sees things differently is a lovely reminder. Yes, you just practice. Kito says that they're using their tubes, the tubes of Paul Rubens, I assume. They're really nice. Boye Vanzo, I think that's how it's pronounced. Hey, from Denmark. Johanna Kansanoya. Hello from Finland. Love these. Thank you. Vino Dini Dinesh. Hello from India. May. Hello from the apartment, from our living room. Okay, so we're going to get started with the process. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. First wash and strategy. So look at the reference photo over there. You see I learned the sides because I see it upside down. If you look at a reference photo, you'll see, let me make it a little bigger if you don't really feel like downloading it or anything. So here we go. You'll see a lot of interesting things here. The main thing I see is I want to preserve all of the beautiful highlights on the boats, and especially the boat at the front. That's where most of the punchiness will come. Now, there are a lot of boats in the background I also want to preserve. The colors, I'm going to be a little looser. One thing I do want to pay attention to is the water, because it's a big element in this painting. And there's this beautiful transition from the top that is kind of a gray, blue, green, all the way to the bottom it's more of a yellow. I want to capture that. I think this is going to be really important. So we're going to do a classic kind of approach. First wash, I'm going to paint everything but the highlights. I'm going to keep the wash even. I'm going to keep it interesting and varied, and I'm going to add some main colors and sub colors that will merge together, and stick to just this palette that I have here. So let me make this smaller. Now, as for my sketch, hopefully you can see it well. Let me make this a little smaller here. So here we go. We have the main boat. We have the secondary boat. I got rid of the Jeep. I don't care about it at all. And got this boat at the back that I like. Made it a little closer to this one. I don't know, just for composition's sake. And I got some of the boats in the background. Okay. So we'll play off of what I got. Now for the angle, I'm just putting this on my Mac and this on that. It just gives me, I need a very gentle angle. Something like 10 degrees max. Okay, so let's get to it. I'm gonna start mixing. Now mixing is a big part of the process that very often you don't see in the tutorials. The reason for that is just that it's so long and sometimes I cut it out. But you have to remember that mixing is a big part of the painting process and you have to take your time. And with a lot of my students, I noticed that there is this impatience on the mixing part because you really think that the painting is done here, but it's actually done on the palette and in the water bucket. It really is. So let's see what you're saying as I mix. Linda is from Illinois. Hey Linda, how are you? John, great to hear you use your old intro in the video. Yeah, the other day I brought back my old intro from the dead. I remember there was a time when I noticed that I lose a lot of viewers early on in the video, and then people said, you know, make the intros shorter, make it more straight to the point, which is why I removed it for a long time. But then I decided to bring it back. I don't know, just to have a punchier feeling. By the way, I hope everyone enjoyed seeing whoever paintings I shared from the Washtober challenge. Had a good time really going over your paintings and just getting a bunch of them to show. And thank you for, again, anyone who joined the challenge. By the way, it's funny, I'm going to share with you the last video I did with the Washtober works. I had to film the intro like 100 times because every time I forgot to say something, so I refilmed it. It was probably like the 5th go. So here it is. What I'm doing is I'm using this blue that's kind of a light cerulean, and I'm adding to that this more of a ultramarine blue down here. Okay, now I love that I have some leftovers. Let me spray some water over the pans just to get them a little wetter and to awaken them in advance. Sometimes this is a good thing to do. It's gonna be a slow process, just letting you know. I'm gonna paint at a leisurely pace, just to have fun and make sure I'm immersed in the process. In a way, it's a bit selfish for me, but I want to share it the way I enjoy doing it. That'll ensure that I'm actually enjoying the process and that it turns out at least interesting, if not good. Hopefully it will turn out good. It's getting a bit cold here. In the last couple of days it started raining. So you see how long it takes. I'm just mixing. This is all I'm doing. I'm mixing. You have to put it into your head that mixing takes time. So in any case, we can get started, I think. I think I have enough paint. So I'm going to start with the top here. You see? And the only important part for me is the highlights. So I'm going to preserve a lot of highlights on the tops of the boats. Okay? And I'm using too big of a brush on purpose. And I'm using a very wet wash, you'll notice. Look at how much water is just kind of dripping all over. That's important because you want to have enough time to do wet in wet, as I'm doing right now. You see? You want to make sure you have enough time to react to what's going on paper, to make the most out of different effects that are created. And you need time to do that, and water is time in watercolor painting. That's basically it. So here we go. Now, any highlights that I'm gonna miss at this stage, and there will be a lot of highlights that I miss, I can just get back later. Okay, so don't stress over it too much. You can always use some opaque paint for the small highlights. You can use whatever you want. You can use opaque paint for the entire painting. It's gonna be a funny way of painting watercolor, but a way nonetheless. You see, I splashed some water. We're gonna grab some of this. No pressure, because I'm using a very wet wash, okay? And I'm just gonna dab it right out, okay? It's not gonna fully disappear, but it's just gonna pretty much disappear. Some highlights here on this boat, goes here. We have a nice highlight at the back of this boat. Now, you have to be aware of all of the edges. We have one edge here, one edge here, one edge here, one edge here, and you have to keep all of these under control. Now I'm going to switch to a smaller brush because it's getting to be a nightmare working around all of these highlights. So here we go, like so. Now it's time to start bringing in some different colors into this mix. So I'm gonna put in a bit of red. Let's see what this looks like. Now I'm gonna actually paint over everything but the highlights, as mentioned. So here we go. Ideally, you want the shapes to be perfect, but that's really beyond our control very often. So just get the best shape you can, and you can fix it later. So no worries about that. Now this entire top section almost is in the highlight like this. So we're gonna go like that, cut around it. I hope everyone had a good night's sleep. I know a lot of people stayed up late for the elections to find out the results. So I hope you're not too tired. Let me know. I did get a lot of hours of sleep tonight, finally. Feels like finally, I don't know, feels like I haven't slept well in a few days. Okay. Now let's cut to the chase. We're gonna have to start moving the paint here just to make sure it stays wet. I'm gonna get some more yellow, sorry, into the mix. You see, like so, just to start greening it up. Okay, fairly light. The water is fairly light. I may have to do another go over it with some darker paint. So just that's a possibility, just to let you know. Now, if there is any technical issues at any point, just let me know. If you can't hear me or anything like that, I trust you to let me know. Because I really have to focus on the process at this stage. And we're gonna start increasing the orange, yellow, and red here, okay? So let's get some red in here. Because we're closer, we get to the sand, we get to all these beautiful details, we get to this, the hull of this boat, for example. I'm gonna get it to be red, like so. And look at that, the red is gonna mix directly into the green. I'm fine with that, no problems whatsoever. In fact, let me get some blue here, some kind of blue with red, and get this part a little darker. The more connections you make now, the better it's going to be later, and the more it's going to help you. So here we go, like so. I'm going to get some red here again. There's this person here. I don't care much about it now because the person is very dark and farther. Okay, so this is a little too red, so let me switch over to some yellow. Now the yellow has to be muted too. I can actually add some yellow ochre here, which is muted right out the gate. And now it's time to work a little fast, okay? So let's straighten this line up. Let's cut around this highlight. Let's do this. Let's get the bottom part of this boat covered, because it's going to be in the shadow and it's going to play to our favor. Because right now I'm covering it with a warm wash, and what this is going to lead to is once I glaze the shadow on it, it's going to be a nice glow. Okay, so here we go. Now it's important to make the most out of this stage again, so I'm continuously adding more yellow to areas where I want to make it a little stronger, like this. And lastly, you will see I'm gonna add, let's see here. By the way, if you have any questions, write them now, because I'm gonna let this dry, and we'll take a small break from the process. I like doing this. It helps me see the painting in fresh eyes. I'm gonna mix a bit of the mossy green here with a bit of red, blue, sorry, and yellow. And we're just gonna sprinkle it in here, you see? Because it is there, but it's also very blended. This is really important, you see? Just getting that random mossy texture here and there. You can even spray some of it, so let me show you. Just grab a bit of blue, a bit of yellow, and you can kind of go like this. See? Kind of splash it all over. That's fine if you get some stuff dirty, it's no worries. And I think with that, the initial wash is done. Now it may be a bit of a mess right now, but trust me, it's all gonna work out. So let's do this. Let's get a bit of the shadows that are here, because obviously there are highlights on the boat, but there are also shadows. So you see I'm getting these shadows and the windows that are a little darker, and I'm just careful not to touch the paint for now. So we'll do this. I'm gonna be with you in the chat in just a moment to see what you're saying. to answer any questions. There we go. So we got these windows. Now you see there are a bunch of interesting highlights all around. Let me get some of these in. I'm gonna try and keep it fairly cool. So we got this beautiful highlight right, shadow, sorry, not highlights, shadow right down the middle, like that. We got a beautiful shadow on the side here. These are a little tricky to get. So you see this here, and then it goes like that. All of these together are gonna lead to a desirable impression, okay? It's not one single factor, it's all of these together. We have some details up on the roof. But I think for that, with that, we can take a break. Now again, it looks like a big fat nothing for now, that's fine. We're gonna give it some time to dry, and then we'll be able to make something out of it using the darker layers. Now one more thing I do want to fix here is the separation between these two boats. This shouldn't be full, and even though I'm going to get a background here, I don't care, okay? So we're going to go like this. I don't care because it's going to be covered by something darker. So I'm going to remove my sweater because the process warms me up. Now let's look at some of your comments in the chat. I always start, I say, oh, it's cold, and then the live stream gets me really warm, so we'll see. Maybe I'll turn on the AC in a moment. So let's see what we have here. Get some color in your life. Oh, wait, we have a bunch of messages here. Thank you so much. I don't know why the chat sometimes gets stuck, and I don't see new messages. So Mario Fernandez, right back at you. Thank you so much. Evelina, mixing has become one of my favorite parts. Yes, it is. It's so important, too. It's just fun. You get to see things before they're on paper. Stephanie Corral, I'm so glad I'm catching this. I would never attempt this photo. It looks so complicated. You just have to simplify it. You'll notice even in the drawing stage, I highly simplified it. But yeah, work it up. Work up the challenge level. I started with very simple paintings. The more I learned, how much more I have to learn. Get some color in your life. Dave Lowe, hi Liron. Hi Dave, how are you? We have, by the way, Eli Lulu sending kisses and hearts. Thank you so much. YouTube is home. Liesel Van Deventer. Hi Liesel from South Africa. Cool. South Africa in the house. Hello from the UK, Dave Lowe says. Eldon Summers, hi from Belgium. Dave Lowe says, I have a photograph like this, but without water. Yeah, I love dry docks. One of my favorite subjects to paint, really. Eldon Summers asks, I've been wondering, where is your accent from? I'm actually Israeli, so it's a weird amalgam of the Israeli accent. Like if you hear people, this comes up in every live, it's so funny. If you hear like someone with zero, like full-on Israeli accent in English sounds really funny. So it will sound something like this. If you are from Israel, you will understand what I am saying right now. That's what it would sound like without the fake American accent, just letting you know. Hanny Shea, what would you say are the biggest pros of buying artist-grade paints, and what are your current top brands? Biggest pros of buying artist-grade paints, I would say the fact that if it's pans, they re-wet very easily. And that's a plus because the mixing time you saw me going through right now that looked like it's very long, double that. If the pen is of a cheap brand, double that time. It's going to take hours just to produce a strong enough color. So that's a huge benefit right out the gate. And I will say that it also saves you quantities because you don't have to scrub it as much. You don't have to work the pan so much to get a strong pigment. This is also true with tubes. If you're using cheaper tubes, what you'll get is just you need to use more paint. So why not pay a little more, get the more high quality paint, and just have to use less paint, faster painting. It's really useful. Actually, it makes a difference. Now, one more thing I would say, well, obviously more expensive and professional grade paint will fade less. It's going to be more, forget the word for it, like it's going to have better light fastness. It's not going to change as much with time. It's going to survive for 100 or a few more years than cheaper paint. Now, as for my favorites, I can show you a few. Let's take just one out of each. I don't have my M-gram tubes handy, but okay, so we got PWC. Oh, this one I need to open. Still haven't opened this SAA. So here we go. SAA are really great. I actually have tubes of them as well. I need to open this cadmium yellow ASAP. Actually, I believe Chris sent me these, right? Chris, you sent me this one. So thank you so much. I actually used the other two immediately, not to mention all the tubes from before. If I got it wrong, just my apologies, but I think Chris sent me these. Yeah, Chris sent me these for sure. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. SAA are great. They're wonderful. I actually corresponded with them via email. I'm going to turn on the AC because I'm going to melt otherwise. I don't want to melt. SAAs are wonderful. I corresponded with them via email a bit. Daniel Smith, obviously, among my favorites. Shinhan, PWC, just PWC. Don't get the other lines. They're not as good. And M-Gram, which are excellent. M-Grams have served me so well. I'm gonna take out the box that I actually got as a gift too and show you M-Grams. I love these paints. They're really high quality, really good. And they have sets like this one. So I don't remember which one it is, but they have different sets based on themes, which is really cool. So you have the cityscape theme, you have landscape theme. I love them. I love them a lot. Let us see what else we have in the messages. I'm sorry that I'm a bit delayed with the chat, but that's just a part of it. Art Kusaro, did you wet the paper at all before you started? Nope. I could have wetted it and just skipped the highlights. It's possible. I didn't. Stephanie Corral, do you prefer pens to paint from tubes? I prefer tubes 100% because they're more cost effective. You can fill in maybe 4 of these for the same price. I don't remember. I think it turns out cheaper. Like, okay, sorry. You can fill with one like 15 milliliter tube. You can fill in maybe 4 of these pens, and it's a little cheaper. It turns out a little cheaper per pen, if I'm not mistaken. So I would definitely get tubes. They're moist out of the tube, so you can fill in larger areas more easily. You don't have to struggle with pens. They re-wet easily many times, easier than some brands that are only pen based. Daniel Smith's pens re-wet as well as a dried tube, paint from the tube that was put in a pen. I hope it makes sense. Dave Lowe, pens are good and convenient. Yes, so the advantage of pens, obviously, it's a little more convenient to carry around, but if you do give it enough time to dry, you can use paint out of the tube, put it in a pen, you're good to go. I always do that. That's what I do for all of my palettes. This one is still the original paint, but generally speaking. Rita Prowl, I would love to know your setup for videos. How do you split screen? I use a software called OBS. It's one of the biggest ones for streaming. You set it up in advance. For example, you can see me here. That's like I set it up as my Mac camera. You can see the desk right over here. I set it up as this top camera. You set up an audio capture device. You set up everything in advance, and YouTube knows how to work with the software. It's actually very simple. OBS. Research it, you will figure it out. It's not that hard. By the way, 92 people. Thank you so much to anyone who joined. I really appreciate having you here. Evelina, does it happen to you? Questions to all, actually. To not know how you feel about a painting of yours until some hours or even days pass. Not days, but hours, for sure. The moment I finish a painting, I look at it, I scratch my head, and I ask myself, what did I do here? Very often. Like, right now, you have to understand, this isn't pretty to my eyes in any way, except for, like, logically. I know that this is a beautiful combination of colors or whatever. It's not pretty in the sense of, wow, this is a finished work. I can't see it yet, but I'm just going to continue executing my process until it looks good. Now, as to finished pieces, yes, usually after an hour or two, the painting will look better. That's how I have it. Sometimes it will look worse. Usually it looks better. That's like the vast majority of cases. By the way, I can already touch it. It's pretty much starting to dry. Weston Monsieur, thank you so much for including my washed over tractor painting. Thank you so much, my friend, for joining the challenge. I have seen your comment on the video as well. I really appreciate it. It's beautiful work, very atmospheric. Check out the video if you haven't later, the Washtober works. I think a lot of you have watched it, so thank you so much for that. It's really a beautiful work. Yashwanth Mayasandra, beautiful first layer. If you have to suggest a good book for watercolor, which one is that? I did not learn from books at all. I do like Nita Engel's book, just for pure inspiration. And I'm going to write it down in the chat for you. Nita, I'm going to write it all caps, Nita Engel. She has a really good watercolor book. So you may want to check that out. But I usually learn from videos, so sorry I don't have a good answer for that. Parth Bosel, okay, lots of smileys and dabs, thank you my friend. Faisal Abdo, Mantap Jiwa, I don't know what it means, if anyone can translate let me know. Cyan Patnik, please tell the brand of paper and watercolor. So watercolor, Paul Rubin. Paper is Arches 300 grams cold press, my favorite type. Dave says you have a good accent. Thank you, Dave. Eldon Summers, I genuinely love hearing the influence of location on accent, while I ironically try to get rid of mine as much as possible. It's interesting. What accent do you have, Eldon? Let me know. I'm curious. I just bought the Daniel Smith primary color quarter set, and I keep accidentally using way too much and running out of palette space because I need to thin so much. Yeah, that's true, because they're so pigmented. You just need a little. Just need a little. And you can put it in pans. Again, put it in pans, let it dry overnight. It's perfect. Dave Law, I'd like to try the Daniel Smith colors. They're really good. I recommend them. Hanny Shea, which 3 artist grade paints should I start with? And what is your favorite, most affordable paper for painting? Arch is the best. You can't get around it. What's more cost effective? I don't know. Not a lot of cost effective papers, unfortunately. It doesn't matter what brand you start with. I would go for one you can find locally. So US, Daniel Smith, UK, SAA, Europe, Schmenka, which were White Knights. White Knights are great. If you're in the East, Shinhan, Holbein, get whatever you can for cheap. It really doesn't matter. You see, most of my palettes are a mix of so many brands together. So. Yep. Becky Zortman, how are you, Becky? I love Amgram the most. Yeah, they are great. Alden Summers, Daniel Smith are currently not affordable for me. Besides that very nice set I got, and they're so good. Yes, they are a little pricier. Dave says Daniel Smith are expensive. My friend Zine Kelsang. Hey, Liron, sorry I'm late. No worries. Thank you for joining. Hi, friend, in Korean, so I'll have to figure it out, your name. Is there a tips for looking at something you want to paint and simplify it? I can't see through the details. Okay, so I'm glad you asked. I am working on the How to Simplify course in watercolor. Hopefully that will help. I really hope it's going to be finished in like a month or two. Okay, I'm trying to work harder on it this month. It will answer all of these questions. How to simplify, how to get less details, get less colors. I think it will be great. It's going to be fully free. I'm going to upload it to YouTube, Udemy, my website, hopefully. So yeah, that's going to solve your simplification problems. It's a very complex topic and there's a lot to cover. You can simplify in terms of colors, you can simplify in terms of values, you can make a lot of different simplifications. So I hope to cover it in the future in that course. Raphael Powery, God, I'm super lucky today. I hardly get the chance to catch you live. Thank you so much, Raphael. I do remember I have shown your painting, I believe, in the last video. It was great work. Thank you for joining the challenge. Dave Lowe, simplifying is very difficult. It's taken me a long time to stop messing with type paintings. Indeed. ZS, can you make a series like you comment to your subscribers' Instagram art page? I will. I know a lot of people want that. I may do that. I may even do that live. We'll see. I'll figure it out. In the meantime, if you have any paintings you want me to review of yours on the channel, like you don't care that I'll actually talk about them, share them on the channel, on Instagram, everywhere, send them to me. You have my email address in the channel information. Send it over. I will start preparing them. And we'll do that. A lot of people want it. Okay, so let me do this. Let me dry this using the hair dryer. I'm going to get outside the frame for a moment. My apologies. I'm going to mute myself so I don't hurt your ears. Got a bunch of cables running here. I'm going to have to improve my setup. So I'm going to mute myself, dry this. and I'm just gonna be back in a second. Let me figure out how I'm gonna mute myself. Here we go. Bye-bye for sound. Oh, wait, how do I do that? I can't find the mute button, that's funny. I'm so, like... Let's see. No, that's not good. That is not good. Where did my mute button go? I feel so old. Let's see, maybe like this. Huh. That's weird. That's very strange. I can do something different, maybe. Let's see here. Huh. Well, you may have to cover your ears, because I can't figure it out. Let's see here. This audio? Huh. Okay, I think I'm figuring it out. Or not. Wow. So weird. Well, cover your ears, because I'm going to have to dry this. I'm going to move it away from the camera. Okay, I think that's good. I don't want to torture you any longer. Sorry about that. I don't know why I don't have a mute button. I used to have a mute button right here, and it's gone. Huh. Well, anyway. Yeah, cover your ears. Okay, so dry. Let's continue. Let's talk strategy, address some questions, and continue. So now we've come to the main wash. This is where we're going to establish the shadows. Where we're really gonna create a hopefully three-dimensional impression. So what I'm going to do is actually start with the main boat. I just want to address that before I move on to the background, because that's where most of our efforts are going to be in. So here's what we're going to do. The details and all of that I'm going to skip, and I'm going to move straight to this area, and I'm going to start painting it. It may end up being a bit of a longer process, so my apologies. As always, I'm going to keep the video up for you on the channel, so you can just watch it whenever you want. So here's what I'm going to do. If you notice the subtleties here, you get this beautiful red stripe, then it switches over to lighter paint, lighter color, and then it gets into the shadow. So let me do that. Let me mimic what I see. So I'm going to take some of my bright red here, and let's go for it. So I'm going to put it, let's see, this goes here, this is right over here. Okay, so you're going to enjoy this one, I think. I'm going to put it all in one go. By the way, there's some red here too. Let's just put it here. Like that. Now for the other side, goes around like so. Now here is the key. This is where we don't stop. We continue. So let me get some very light paint, warm. Maybe let's cool it off just a bit to balance it with the yellow underneath. And I'm going to just connect these two. You see? Now, why do I make that connection? Because this is in the shadow. The transition from red to whatever the paint of the boat is gradual. Okay? Now, there is a bit of blue down the bottom, so let's put that in. Very strong, you see? And now we're going to mix a darker paint for the shadow. Okay? But not too dark. We want to keep things still beautiful and in the realm of you can see through the shadows. Okay, so this is a little tricky. I'm gonna do my best. We'll see how it goes. It's very often it's hit or miss watercolor. You just don't know exactly what result you're gonna get. So here we go. Now here's what's important. This shadow is not just this shape. It's actually this shape as well. There is this thing coming out from the ledge. It has some details. Connect everything while you still can. Even more than that, there are these ropes coming out. Add these shadows in as well. See? Like this, like that. You want to connect as much as you can. Okay, it's really important at this stage. And with that, I think this part is pretty much done. Let me see what it looks like here. Yeah, so this looks dark enough. My fear was that it's going to be too light. It looks dark enough. I will add some coolness right at the bottom, what's called occlusion shadow. That's where light can't reach as much. So it's right around here, you see, around the bottom. That's where you're going to get this type of shadow. And it's going to hopefully bleed and move downwards. I can go like this, help it move a bit. And that's that. Okay. So we have this section pretty much done. I'm going to just start rendering shadows. So there is one. There is a medium value somewhere around here, like that. So I'm going to place that in and around this section. At this stage, I don't know what I'm painting. This is just a tarp or something like that. I don't know what I'm painting and I don't care. I just paint it as I see it, okay? I'm looking at the values. I have my reference taped to the wall so I can see it. And I'm just recreating the values I see. So this is a little darker. We'll go with a little darker. This is also a little darker. This is a little darker, you see. And what you hope for is that slowly it starts to look like something. It sounds funny, but that's what you do at this stage. You just put in those small details and you hope they're gonna connect into something that makes sense. That's all we can do. So there are a few details here up top. Maybe a couple of, not what you call these things, I don't know, but you know what I mean. Like vents, openings, vent doors, I don't know what you'd call it. So this is that. Let's see. It's funny, this boat is almost done, you know, there's not much going on with this one. I just think, where am I missing shadows, if at all? Obviously, I am missing some shadows here and there. There is a shadow here. Yeah, I think this one's done. Let's just add a bit of details onto these sides. I know these details are supposed to be actually white on dark, but I'm flipping it. That's what I'll often do just to get some of the details I want. Okay, so here's the part where I messed up a bit. At the back, I'm going to just do this. This is a part of the background. And we'll just pretend this never happened. I hope it looks good. Now let's switch to a smaller brush yet again. And for this one, I want to get some of the parts that hold the boat in its place right here around the side. So here you can't see it, but I'm just going to add it like so. Okay. Maybe should have done it a little earlier while the paint was super wet there, but that's fine. And I'm going to add another one here. And I love that dry brush look. Actually, it looks good. And let's connect it to the shadow as much as we can. So like this. There we go. We may get some bleeding. That's fine. Yeah. So I think we're good with this one. Let's move on to the next boat. Now for this one, let's see, how dark is that? So it is a little darker. I'm going to do this. I'm going to first, let's reverse it, okay? I'm going to first go over this entire thing. Now, sometimes when I paint just for myself, I'll grab the paper so that I have better control. So here we go, showing you how I do this very often. I like getting really close to it, really seeing what I'm doing there. And now we'll add the darker sections for the windows, okay? Wet and wet. So it's going to blend a little bit. And the details aren't going to be too bold and too strong. They're still going to feel like they're in the shadow, you see? See what this looks like? Here we go. Now there are a bunch of smaller details that I'm trying not to put in yet, okay? You will see later. All these stuff, antennas, and you don't need it yet. Now this boat here, it's more red, obviously. Thinking about it again, maybe I could have turned this red and this blue, or the other way around, but let's do this. Let's do a switcheroo. I'm going to do this. Let's see here. So I'm going to grab some red. I'm going to start red and then turn it to blue. Or you know what? Let's do everything blue. Because I want to balance these two. I don't want there to be red here and there. So I'm going to grab a bunch of blue from all kinds. Cubs win. Just joined. Have you answered a brush brand question? Feel free to ask questions multiple times. I don't mind that at all. Right now I'm using Escodas. I also have Tracy Levinson's beautiful brushes here that I'm going to use later on. These. I have this Liron brush. I have a bunch of them that I like using. So let me get this area in. Okay. We actually have two sections that I kind of missed. So this is one of them. Goes like that. Leaving a very thin highlight underneath it. And the highlight above it will add later on opaquely. And here we have this more shadowy area. Like that. And I'm just trying to think, is it too dark? I don't think so. I think it's close to what it should be, but let me just water it down. I actually love taking these breaks and talking to you because it allows me enough time to let the paint breathe and for me to figure out if I did things right or there's anything I want to change. So here we go. So after this one, once again, we'll kind of take a mini break. Here we go, like this. Let's water it down just a little bit. So I'm just basically making my brush hold more water than paint, and I'm kind of going over it. Just trying to figure out if it's too dark or not. Let's do this. Wet, 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 and lift. And now when we get to the shadow underneath it, that's where we want to be really stronger. But I do want to warm it as well. So I'm going to add some yellow, some red. And I'm going to put in that shadow as well. Now I'm going to put the shadow sharply, even though it's quite faded in some sections in the original reference. So here we go. And here's the thing. Here's where you really have to recognize your opportunities, okay? While this area is still wet, what I want to try and do, let's see here. I'm going to do a few things. I'm going to drop a line here, connecting the two. This is the part, again, that holds the boat in place. But I'm also going to connect the person here, just as a dark blob. That's how I see the person. It's really important to make that connection now, for me, okay? So that's a person. Maybe they're working on the boat, doing something. Now, very important. Left side section. This could be really a big mess up for the shape of the boat. So this section has to be painted with something. Now there are these floats here, so I'm going to connect them. Make them feel kind of like they're connected. And this will hopefully fix the shape of the boat just a bit. We have another one here. Let's go for a stronger red, like so. Like this, see? And hopefully that'll make sense. Now, let's make it a little wet for longer. Because what I want to do, it's very interesting. Let me darken the lower section. You see, you have to look at what you have on paper and make the necessary changes. This is tiring, by the way. Like, you have to really think things through. So here we go. This entire section should be darker, and I'm going to reinforce it with some darker mixes here. I really want to push this one to be a little stronger than what it is, and let this kind of blend together, okay? I hope that makes sense. I think it does. And notice how much time I'm spending just on this section, okay? Because it is important to make sure you get a nice overall impression. Now let me switch to a bit of a smaller brush here. This is Tracy Levinson's brush. I did review them on my channel. You can check that out. Get the links to everything, hopefully in the description box as well. And I'm just going to draw this wire coming out of here, just because I want to put it in while things are still a little wet. Here we go, like this. Okay. And this is enough for details for now. Okay. Let's see what we got in the chat, and then I'll continue with the boats in the background. Hopefully we'll get this to look like something. Yeah. Let's see. The balance is a little off in some aspects, but hopefully it will improve. Thinking about the shape. You know what? I think let's fix this shape right around here. This should be at a stronger angle, like that. Okay, let's see what we got. I think I have shown your art, Raphael. Go back and check it out. I can actually try and see if I have. Let's see. I missed a lot of messages here. Sorry about that. I'm gonna go over them real fast, and then we'll continue. Can you make a series? Yeah, I answered that. Victoria Gomez, do you watch anime? I read manga. I don't watch as much anime. I love. I do need to watch One Piece. I'm at like I have like 20 episodes to continue from. I love Berserk. I used to love Naruto. I used to love Bleach, but then it went downhill, seriously downhill. And what else was it? I watched a bunch of them. I watched a lot of anime. I love the older style of Pokemon, like the actual manga. I'm reading a bunch of mangas right now. Started reading Doctor Stone. Also reading what's it called? Neverland, the one with the orphans. The Promised Neverland. That's a really good one. I love anime and manga. Raphael Parry, which paper do you think stays wet the longest? Been looking for paper that gives me the most time to work with. Wow, that has to do more with the climate, I think, where you live, how dry it is, or how moist, how the air. I don't know how much it's related to paper, so unfortunately, I don't know. I would genuinely look out for sales for paper. Yeah, I agree. You can find, I guess, good deals for paper. Let me blow my nose for a moment. Legion Stonehenge, yeah. Legion Stonehenge is actually good. I forgot about it. It is cheaper on Amazon. It's a pretty good paper. I loved it, hot press and cold press, both. Mel B, favorite Daniel Smith color. I'm tempted to say black because I can do monochromatic work with it, but I don't know. I like a bunch of them. If I had to choose one, favorite Daniel Smith paint, Pyrrole Scarlet. That's gotta be it. I love Pyrrole Scarlet. Raphael Powery, got myself a lot of Daniel Smith and M. Graham. Took forever to get in Cayman. Oh, so you live in Cayman Islands. That's cool, but it's worth it. Got it based on your thoughts and Steve Mitchell's. They're beautiful. Yes, they are. And Steve's channel is great. The Mind of Watercolor. John, what is the situation with your local art galleries? Do you still have your paintings with them? I do, but honestly, I haven't talked to them in a while. The communication isn't as great because just they're not on top of it as much as I'd want them to be. Like they remember that they sold something in a very delayed way. They're like, oh, we actually sold your painting 4 months ago. But I still have them there. I'm now finding all sorts of things I'd love to correct. Let's add a bit of red there. There's a lot to do with this painting. I think I'll do another try at some point. I don't really like how it's turning out for now. Obviously, tomorrow I'll look at it again and it's going to look much better. But yeah, let's see. You know what? Here's something to change. This should be a bit darker. I'm going to kill off this section a bit. A little lot darker than it was before. So let's see. And I'm going to get a background here. I don't mind. Denisa B. Thank you, Denisa. Melby, how do you paint when you're moody or in a bad mood? I always am in the mood to paint. Honestly, it usually doesn't affect my mood as much. It's just now become an automatic thing that I can do very easily. I'm very grateful to be at this point. I can't take it for granted, but I enjoy it. I don't usually have a problem painting like this, whether I'm in a good or a bad mood. It's a very okay, so every action that I can do while listening to music, listening to podcasts, doing these kinds of things, they're not mood related for me. It's just an insight I had right now. Something that has to do with thinking and planning, and I can't listen to anything while I do it. That's the things I'll have a harder time doing if I'm not in the mood. So I hope that makes sense. Raphael, what? You showed my art? Yes, I have. I've been dead online lately. I got into my National Gallery recently, but this got me hyped. I'm so happy. I'm gonna make sure that I did. I can check it in just like 10 seconds. So let's see. I'm gonna go to my YouTube channel folder, vids, emptied folders, because these are videos I finished working on, pics, audience paintings. Let's see. Control F, Powery. Let's see here. Yes, I have. I have shown your work, actually. And I loved it. It's really nice. It has this very subdued and subtle color scheme. I loved it. So that answers your question. Victoria Gomez, do you watch anime? I answered. Evelina, it's okay. Everybody cover your ears. Yes, everyone cover their ears. This is the sound every watercolor artist are used to. Yeah, the hairdryer. Rosario Jimenez, hello. Hey, Rosario. Welcome. We have 103 people on board. Thank you so much. Rafael, I always forget to leave some crucial whites. It looks like Liron never has problems. I did have a lot of problems with this when I got started, and still to this day. The hit and miss with watercolor painting is what makes it a wonderful medium to work with. Yeah, definitely. I agree. Evelina, I love how we all are extremely quiet paying attention to the process. Thank you so much. Cubs win, just joined. Have you answered any brush questions? I hopefully have addressed your question, but let me know. Gabrahimovic, on average, how long does it take you to finish a painting of that paper size? One sitting, and it usually takes an hour and a half, an hour. If it's a really detailed process, I'm very careful with 3 hours. But now that I'm talking, it can take much longer because I'm explaining everything and so on. But it's not that long of a process. Zine, I just can't see those shadows. So frustrating. What do you mean, like reading them correctly? Let me know. Painting art. Great to get you on your live stream, Liron. Excellent tutorial coming live now that you've added these juicy darks. Thank you so much. Yes, the background's actually going to play a major role here, so we'll see how we figure that one out. We'll now have to go, John. Yes, catch this on the replay. I will do one at a different time. Murad Rasulov. Hello. Hey, Murad, my friend. How are you? Becky Zortman, I'm working on a digital painting for a commission, but you're making me really want to pull out the watercolors again. Yeah, finish it up and then move on to watercolors. Thank you so much, Murad. Watercolor Perfecto. I assume you talk about this one, so thank you so much. Connecting shadows. Dave Lowe says also, Becky, pull out the watercolors. Connecting shadows always gets me. I have to really, really plan ahead. Yes. And that's part of it, you know. Some part of painting is just not being lazy and actually thinking and, you know, planning things out in advance. And that's fine. That's totally fine. It's just a part of the process, really. Sorry for moving the camera. Rafael says, I love Berserk. I got into it a few years ago, but didn't commit to catching up until a few weeks ago. And I'm hyped for Fantasia. Rafael, let me give you a piece of advice. Take your time with Berserk because the hiatuses are a murder. It's just a nightmare. We have to wait like months for a new episode. It's really bad. But the story gets so much better. So yeah, just read it. I read it so fast because I enjoyed it so much. And you also say if you want to watch a cool anime, you should check out Vinland Saga. It's on my list, on my short list. I hope to check it out. Adrian, you definitely recommend ReZero and Fire Force. I tried watching ReZero, as they would say in Japanese. I didn't like it as much. It looks wonderful. It looks great. The graphics are amazing. I just didn't like it as much. I don't know. The concept, it didn't grab me enough. Fire Force, have not watched, so I may check it out. Stephanie Corral, will you share this photo? You're making me feel brave. Love your podcast. Thank you so much, Stephanie. I'm happy you enjoyed the podcast. I haven't posted one in a while. I will share this on Instagram as well once it's done. Thank you so much. Joanna Cansanoya? I don't know. White Knights are great. They are. Arthur M. Saludes de Mexico. Thank you so much, Arthur. Barb White. Hi, Liron. Evelina. Paper has an ingredient aside from cotton that controls the amount of water that is absorbed and therefore the timing of it. Interesting. I don't know much about it. Feel free to elaborate. Amit Parmar, hello from India. I love your channel and learned a lot from you. Thank you so much, Amit. It's so funny. Amit is actually also an Israeli name, like a fully Israeli name. You'll find tons of people here that are called Amit. It means a friend in Hebrew. Amit. It's with a not with a here. So that's interesting. I wonder what it means in Indian, so let me know. Zine, I can't figure out how you know to change the color of the back boat. I can't figure it out too. It's just an instinct. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I think it's just about looking at it and figuring out if it looks good to me or not. That's the best answer I can give, I think. Weston Monsieur, do you still find time to do any plein-air? I haven't done plein-air in a while. I should. It's been a while, yes. Adriana, you can't get over how gorgeous your shadows look. Thank you so much. I'm always so lazy painting-wise. Murad, Liron, I wish you success in your work. Perfect water. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And ZS, I suggest you watch Psychic So as anime. Okay. I'm gonna go over I'm gonna take a screenshot of this so that I remember. Yeah. Cyan Petnik, how do you obtain the dark colors for shadows? What colors do you mix? Basically blues and reds and some yellows. That's all it is. And with that, let's move on. Let's continue the process. So for all of the boats in the background, you'll notice some of them are quite dark. I'm not going to go with dark. I'm going to go with light because I want to keep them at the back. Now this is probably the closest one, maybe this one as well. So let's do this. I'm going to add blue to this mix here. And then I'm going to add some water to water it down. Add more blue, and let's see what this looks like. I think it should be fine. So I'm just gonna try. See, that's fairly lighter than the foreground. Now you can't see it, but once I do this, you will be able to see. We have a cameo of Ruth. Anyone wants to see Ruth? She's in the house. Woody, I'll give her a treat. Bye. What's up? Bye.
Hello. Hello, love. Oj, pappa.
I can't get to the treats. Here we go. Three. Chova. You can't see her. Let's move the camera. There you go. Woody. She's the bestest. Did you know that? Without a thought, I just stopped the process. It's so funny. Which is, how are you in Hebrew? Okay, she just sits here. Okay, we can. You can go. So let's continue. A nice little break. This may have started drying. That's my bad. Let's see here. Let's see what your comments say. Yeah, I have them in my pocket. It's been a while, the puppy treats. It's been a while since I had them in my pocket like all the time, but now I put them back because for walks, Ruth loves them, and they make her actually listen to us, which is important because we go like Eli, which means to me or look at me, and then she actually looks at us, and then we give her a treat. So yeah. I hope you enjoyed this cameo. So I'm just going to go over this boat. This wall should all be in the shadow, but a very light shadow. So here we go, like this. Now, with these kinds of processes, I'm going to have to actually call it done at some point. So you can continue working on it, making it more like better, more perfect in a way. But because this is a live stream, and at some point I'll obviously end the live stream, I'm gonna call this one done the moment I feel like it, because I know a lot of people have issues with how to know when the painting is done. It's your decision, basically. So a lot of these questions are just about what do you think. So let's get some reflections going here. Once you're happy with it, it's done. That's how I look at it. See, so these boats are going to stay in the background a little more. Now this one feels a little closer than I did it. So let's darken the shadow just a bit. It feels funny because it looks close, but the value is light. So that's how I know. I just go a little stronger. See? I hope that makes sense. Now it feels just a little bit closer. And painting, obviously, while you're talking, it's not an easy thing to do. It's funny, I'm not as trained in it at the moment because I do a lot of my videos now recorded in advance, and then we have this beautiful thing here. Let's get this shadow here. I do a lot of my videos in a way of filming and then narrating because that helps me get a bit of a better result. So obviously it's a challenge. It's a shadow. I was gonna say this is how much I'm into the process, but you'll forgive me. The result could always be better. Just accept it, you know. You have to accept it, really. It is what it is. So let's see here. And actually, if I'm honest with myself, I usually like every painting once it's done. Like after a while, maybe not immediately, but after it's done, usually I'll let it some time to sit. And at the end of the day, I love 99% of my paintings. I really do, and it makes me happy to say it. But yeah, so here we go, the back here, like so, and then we got this section right around here, sharp edge to it. Now, one thing that's really important is to get your reflections and shadows. See, I messed this one up, but that's fine. Getting them horizontal, because if you don't, it may feel inaccurate. It will feel like the camera is skewed, because remember, water is horizontal. There's no water at an angle. It just doesn't work that way. Physics. So yeah, just as a side note here. Now here I'm just going for what I see. I honestly don't really know what I'm painting, but it makes sense to me, just the shapes. We have this boat from behind this one. That's a little crooked. I'll have to fix it. So let's go like this and get the reflection down. So you see, these feel like a part of the background. That's the most important thing. Even if the details are a little off. Now I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna enjoy the process, whatever result I get. Now I'm gonna switch to a slightly thinner brush. Let's try this one. I like this one a lot. What I want to do is get some ropes going, even before I get to that last boat, just because I see them and I want to connect them. So we have one that goes from here onto the water. Let's add another one from here, one from the back. See, some of my shapes are sloppy, but that's fine. It's not the end of the world. Here's one. This part. Let's do one that comes towards us. That hopefully makes a little bit of sense. Now let's see what you write in the chat, and then we'll continue with the process. Cyan and Platinic, how do you obtain dark colors for shadows? What colors do you mix? Do you use neutral tint for shadows? I don't use neutral tint. Sometimes I'll just use black or Payne's Gray. That's a good one if it's really gray. I love using that for shadows, just to get them darker a little faster. Raphael says, I have a meeting with interns in a bit. Thanks again for the live stream. It's always so cool to catch you. My wife got me back into art. That's amazing. But you got me back into watercolors, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much. So enjoy the meeting, and hopefully we'll see you later. Have an awesome day and a successful meeting. Stephanie says, too cute. Yeah, Ruth is really cute. Yes, Steve and Theo are great as well. Steve Mitchell and Theo Chie. I think that's how you pronounce it, from the other watercolor channels. Zine saying we love Ruth. Mrs. D says, oh, hi Ruth. Adrian Yu says, oh. Becky Zortman, I love that you just carry puppy treats. Indeed. Raphael says, have a good day, everyone. Gabrahimovic, such a cute big baby. Yeah, it's perfect for training. Roseanne, I love to have seen your canine friend. Hi, Ruth, good girl. Food challenges, Sis and Bro says, oh, thank you. Dave Lowe says, love it when the dark tones and shadows are added. It's my favorite part. Yeah, it is. Bring the magic. Adrian, you, at least 99% of your paintings are incredible. Thank you so much. Arnish Sutar, love from India. Thank you, my friend. So, I think we can continue. Let's do this. I'm going to add a bit of blue. By the way, the last live stream, I messed up because I said ask me any questions, and then I just didn't see your comments for some reason, the chats, and I only saw it after the live stream ended. So sorry about that. It just didn't update on my end. I will make sure to address all questions this time. So here we go. This is a little darker. Now, again, I could honestly take hours to get the exact shape, and I often do that when I paint just for myself, but when it's a demo, and you see how nice this shape looks because I did work a little slower at it, but there are some constraints to doing these live demos, and I always think, like, subconsciously, is it interesting? Is it too long? And I know a lot of you will say it's very interesting, and I appreciate it. It's a thought that's hard for me to shake off sometimes, so subconsciously I'm working a little faster. Okay, so you'll have to excuse me and forgive me if the result isn't as good due to that. It's the one thing I noticed that happens a lot. So you see, this one looks a lot nicer because I took my time with it. But that's fine. That's fine. By the way, I don't know how many of you follow Patrick Lee Greaves. His channel is excellent, and he recently came back. After a long break, he just disappeared. I believe I have corresponded with him here and there on Facebook, but here on YouTube, he was nowhere to be found. and I really missed his videos, and I've been following him on Facebook, and I saw that he started doing a lot of oils, and they're really interesting. So check out his channel if you haven't for a while. He's doing some really nice stuff there with his videos are really good. And I love his sense of light and shadow. It's just very interesting and fascinating for me to watch. So we're getting to the point where we can pretty much start wrapping it up in terms of the process. Now I do see some reflections, so let's get those in. There's a very gentle reflection like here under this direct shadow. So let's get that. I'm going to add some blue, and we'll start just painting those and seeing how they go. I'm really proud of myself, and I feel very lucky because one of the first live streams I did here was the Washtober prompt instinct with that bird of prey, and that turned out really nice. And I thought to myself, wow, this is the first live I do, and I'm just happy that I got a decent painting. Just took out the cap. I'm really happy that the first go went this well. I got very lucky, I think. But you see how this shadow really helps it just to anchor it more. I'm going to do the same for this one. Now you follow the shape of the original boat with the shadow. See, like that. It's a lighter than the reflection, than the shadow right underneath it, and it does play a role. You see how it helps just to bring it into the scene. I hope that makes sense. I think for the next live demo I'll go with something a little simpler indeed, more like a two-value painting, something that I can just divide it into light and shadow, maybe a portrait even. I really wanted to do a portrait for a while now. Now here's the thing, I do want to add some kind of a horizon to it. So what we're gonna do, spontaneous decision everyone, is I'm gonna go over this section. I'm gonna bring the pencil so that I can show you, and I'm just gonna add a quasi background. Okay, by the way, I showed you the pencil holder. I got a pencil holder. I can use these tiny nibs. I'm gonna add a quasi horizon line or a wall or something like this. So here we go. You see this line that I'm adding? I'm gonna add something here. So it could be a dog, or I just feel like something has to stop the scene there to add some interest because it's so open down here. And these are the spontaneous decisions you have to make. It really helps. So let's do that. Now, you want to find a good balance. It cannot be too dark and too obstructive, let's say, but it can't be too light too, because if it's too light, it won't feel like the thing that it is. So this feels good. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, this will work. This is perfect. So here's what we're gonna do. This will not only create this fake horizon line, it will also make the boats pop because of their highlights. You see? Makes them pop a little better, like this, by leaving a highlight. You see that? And that works out really nicely. So I like that kind of a thing. Again, fully spontaneous decision. Did not know I'm gonna do that. Here we go. So I don't know why, it just feels good to have that wall here. Now, you don't want to have it too obtrusive in terms of the edge too, so I'm going to blend it a bit. See? Like that. Perfect. And I'm going to blend the right side as well, like this. Everything that's too prominent of an edge, I'm going to blend a bit. And hopefully that'll make sense. You see how it frames up the painting nicely? Now I'm going to stand up because I really have to get a good look at it from afar. Yeah, so it's a nice scene. It's a really nice scene. I think I could have done a lot of things a little better, but that's fine. Now it's time for the sharper details. Okay, so dry brush. So let me talk about strategy, then we'll look at some of your messages, and then we'll continue. Strategy. A lot of things that we need to add here, such as masts and different antennas and elements like that, that really help. I'm going to remove that. It makes my ears hurt a bit. We're going to add a lot of antenna-like things here. Does this fold? Yeah, it doesn't fold, so I'm just going to get rid of it. Where should I place it? Let's place it here. Okay, so I'm going to drop a couple of the masts here just to get some more vertical action. I'm going to add some of the moss down here to get that beautiful green to pop a little more. It's going to provide some depth and a sense of solidness. I'm going to add some opaque white highlights kind of thing, and we'll wrap it up. And this is nice. It's a really nice piece. Once I'll remove the tape, you will really see it. By the way, how long have we been going? I'm curious to see. Live 1 hour and 15 minutes. Cool, we're good. Let's see what you write here. Edit. Renew, Arnish, love from India. Arnish, thank you so much. Murad, greetings from Azerbaijan. Cool, that's the first time I hear of someone from Azerbaijan. I know I have viewers for the channel everywhere. When I look at my analytics, I'm actually very proud of it. It looks like people from all over the world watch, and that's really, really cool. I have a nice kind of spread of ages, age groups, a lot of people, so thank you so much for that. Daiji Shinomori, I just love how lifelike this painting is. Thank you so much. Stephanie Corral, when you lose your pencil marks, do you just do your best to add the last details? Yes. I relate the last details to what I have on paper. That's how I usually do it. And that's the thing that helps me to be able to get them in anyway. You have to really treat it as a map in a way and allow it to guide you. I just see that this this part should be in a bit of a stronger shadow like this. So yeah, a major part of it is to let the painting guide you. Honestly, you have to learn how to rely on what you have on paper. So now that I have this, I know I'm going to add the dry brush details to this side of the boat. Maybe I'll add a white opaque paint to get the number here, 149. Maybe I'll add, you know, I related to here, there's this ledge here on the railing on the boat, so this is how I do it. If you feel like you need the pencil lines, just go back over and redraw them as much as you can, maybe with a softer lead. So let me show you. This is a softer lead, so it will erase easier, but it will also be easier to get a mark with because it's just darker, okay? So yeah, my advice for that. Evelina, on occasion of the last question, what about pencil marks? What if you cannot hide them? Yeah, exactly. If you cannot hide them, so you want to hide them, well, here's my answer to you. Use a softer lead. This lead, for example, and let me show you what it looks like here on a scrap piece of paper. So, let me see. So if I'll use this kind of a, mechanical pencil, you'll get this line, okay? Now I know you can't see too well, sorry about that, but you will see what I mean. And this line. Now look what happens with this pencil, okay? See how darker it is? Without trying too hard. I'm going to show it here as well. See? This is a softer lead. So the water, what happens is it comes off easier on the paper and then the water washes it more easily. Use this and you will be able to get rid of the pencil marks. So just in that regard. If you're going to use a hard pencil, like one of the H family, it's going to be really hard and sometimes it will scratch the paper. I don't recommend it. I recommend a medium number 2, like this one, or go with a softer lead. Zine says, sometimes the pencil marks look beautiful. I think I agree. I leave them. I don't care about them at all. Tulipan16, hello from Slovakia. Hey, how are you? So maybe it depends on the painting itself. Yes. I think we answered that. Yeah. You can do a portrait of me. Sure, Zine, send me a picture. Maybe I'll do it if it's a good one. Becky Zortman, Evelina. At Evelina, I use Coloraze pencils. I don't know these. They just kind of melt into the water. Great advice. Roseanne, would love Roseanne Nelloy. Let me know if I'm mispronouncing the name. I think I'm okay. Oh, it's Roseanne Lowy, I think. Okay. Would love to see you paint a portrait, especially from life. I will, I think next week. Mrs. D. Does the graphite affect the colors? From my experience, not really, but we'll see what Becky says. That's cool, and actually I need to try it. For now, I just loosen up my sketch, really basic stuff. Just don't know how to feel about it when it's there. Yeah, I get it. It's an acquired taste in a way, too. Shadow merged with boat looks superb. Thank you. Now, what I'm thinking is... So here's the thing. Here's where we're going to get a little adventurous. Spontaneous. What I feel like right now is there isn't enough contrast between my lights and this first wash. I told you I may need to darken it. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do another wash over it. Very simple. Blue to yellow. we'll darken it just a bit, okay? Let me see if I really want to do this. I think I do. I think I want to darken the floor a bit. It feels a little too light. Let's do that real quick. It's just one of these things that sometimes you feel like, oh, okay, I need to do this. I'm going to use a smaller brush this time, by the way. Now, when I'm going to do this, I want to use not too, I don't know if I want to use too strong of colors. Let's go with this. Let's just have fun with it. I just feel like I want to get this wash done. I don't know why. Sometimes this happens. So I'm going to work my way around this boat. Now, the hard part about doing these glazes later is that obviously you may go over some details. You need good paper too to handle this multitude of washes. You see, I think, is it too dark? It may be too dark. I may regret this, you know. I may ruin everything. Who knows? I hope I won't. Let's wet this a bit more. We're gonna take a bet and hope for the best. That's how we are here at Venturous. And I always recommend, and this is something I've said many times before, if you feel like something needs correction, but you're scared you'll ruin something, I like to err on the side of making that correction. Because I'd much rather make it and just understand that I messed something up than wonder like what would it be like and how much better would it be like had I made that correction. Okay, so I always err on the side of let's do it, and if it messes things up, it does, you know, that's fine. Let's see. I think we'll be good. Let's tilt it a bit more to get more angle. Now I really want to get some cleaner, not cleaner, but yellowy, more yellow and warm yellow. So let's do this. I just feel like this needs to be a little darker. Fortunately or unfortunately, because it means I both found a possible mistake and possibly an improvement. You see? A bit of that yellow ochre that's not really that ochreish, I have to admit. Like so. So it's a bit of a risk, a bit of a risky move, but I feel like it will add. You see, that's better. I swear that's better. That's much better. Huh. Just looks better. I love that this contrast is stronger. Now we're gonna let it dry and it will look even better than what it looks like now. So I don't know, that's what I feel. And I think it actually improved the quality of the colors. Huh. So that's great. Okay, let's give it a few seconds. Let's see what you say here. Yeah, that's funny. Let's switch to, okay, now maybe you want to look at the painting while I answer your questions. So let's do this. My leg just fell asleep here. Hopefully you can hear me well, because this is how I capture the audio. So let's see. They're basically colored pencils, so if you if matched. Wait, I missed a bunch of messages. Sorry about that. That's cool. Oh yeah, okay. Yashodan Jalter, shadow merged with both look superb. Thank you. I read that one. Maria, greeting from Estonia, looking nice. Thank you, Maria. If you can't hear me, let me know. Becky Zortman, Miss D, they're basically colored pencils, so if matched, they hide well. Oh, nice. Also, they melt away so much it's hard to see them if not color matched. Cool. That's a good tip. Berika, hello from Istanbul, Turkey. How are you? I remember you. It's amazing how your videos bring everyone together. Thank you so much. I really do hope with this channel to bring people together. There are a lot of things that do the opposite, so I want to be that voice at least. Cynthia Zik, hello from Madison. So WI is Wisconsin, and I know it now. I know it now. I used to think it's Wyoming. I was totally wrong. It's Wisconsin. Yes, USA. I enjoy your live work. Thank you. Let's see here. I feel like an old man reading from a newspaper. Zine Kelsing, am I the only one from the United States? No, there's a bunch of people from the United States. Becky here is from Is that Pennsylvania? I'm sure I'm wrong and it's not Pennsylvania. Esmeralda Leon, hello friend, artist. Good day. Good day to you too, Esmeralda. Zine, I will send you a photo. Send me one. Adrian Yu, I'm in New Jersey. Oh, you're in Rhode Island. Cool. Eastside. Stephanie Correll, we need another wash. Yeah, that's my face when I figured it out. Patrick Lee Greaves, yes, I'm going to stick with watercolors, but I can still learn a lot from Patrick, whatever he's painting with. I'm also glad he's back. And by the way, I learned a lot about watercolor from following Mark from Draw Mix Paint, which is an oils channel. So yeah, you can learn a lot on one medium from a different medium. It actually is very common. On another topic, I find it too hard a pencil lead or too much pressure on the pencil can dig a ditch. Exactly. Wow. Yeah, I was just saying that because I see the chat delayed. So sorry about that, M. Christine Landis. Yes, I do find that. It makes darker lines than I want. Yeah. Adrian Yu. Yeah. It really makes those highlights pop. Roseanne Lowe, yes, it needed deeper value in blue to green to yellow, livened up the grounded boats. Yeah, yeah. Oh, she's beautiful. That's about Ruth, probably. What's the most exotic location you've read in your analytics? Pads, Pennsylvania. Good, I got it. Okay. Gabrahimovic, what's the most exotic location you've read in your analytics? So for me, that would be, because I'm from Israel, and it seems like everyone's our enemies, quote unquote, because I say quote unquote because like I have followers from everywhere, and I text with them like on Instagram and stuff. I love people from all over the world. I don't care where you're from. I would say stuff like Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, all of these places that are really close to Israel, but will not be able to go there soon, I think. Like, who knows? But these are the places that I would say are the most exotic to me. Let me think if there's something more exotic than that. Like, I mean, there are, just to me personally. Is there anything that's more, or maybe more obscure? I've got a lot of people from different places in Africa as well. I don't know, you could say that's pretty exotic in a way, maybe, in terms of locations. I don't know, but just everywhere, really everywhere. It's crazy. Maybe one day I'll just go over them and then I'll let you know. It's interesting. It's really interesting. What else did I wanted to say something else. Can you draw a realistic portrait with graphite? Raynell Mark Manello asks. Honestly, I'm still working on my realism, especially with something that's not watercolor. I can. It will take time and focus, which makes sense. It's not really the thing I do most. Even now that I'm working on faces and anatomy, my focus is on understanding it so that I can apply it to my more simplified style. I hope that makes sense. So yeah. So here's what we're gonna do. I think we can start. Let me try something here. What I actually want to do. I want to try something. Okay, so I think I figured out how to mute myself. I'm gonna dry this real quick and then come back. Now, just be careful, maybe the mute will fail. Let me know. I'm gonna mute, let's see. Okay, it worked. So I don't know why I had such a hard time with it earlier. Now, when I added this background, it changed things around, and this is just part and parcel of the process. Now, I may want to darken some things in terms of the boats because now they pop less. So we'll definitely do that. So I'm gonna go over them real quick. Nothing too crazy, and hopefully you're not tired of the process. All I can do is my best and hope that people are entertained. So I'm going to darken this section here, you see, because that's the thing that really pops out of me as needing to be darker. So here we go, like so. I plan on exercising after this live. I think it'll be fun. After sitting around for such a long time, I'm going to darken this entire thing here. Yep. It needs it. Because I went darker on the water, okay? And that's fine, You darken things gradually and you'll find the right, So here's the thing. With these two, I can do something really fun. First, I'm gonna put in this occlusion shadow, what you'd call, where less light can reach, or just a shadow. And then let's grab a very muted red and just add this kind of a nice thing around the edge, just to make it look more like a boat, you see? That looks much nicer. Now, I can see it in the camera, it doesn't look the same, so I'm sorry about that. It actually looks much better in real life, which is convenient for me to say, but it is true. So let's see here. When you see the photo on Instagram, you will get a better idea of what it looks like. The funny thing is, I can now take a photo and then send it over to you, show it to you live so you can better see it. But it's okay, I'll do it tomorrow. And this one must be darker because it's closer, the one on the left. So let's get that one going. A bit of everything, really. A bit of all of my primary colors. So here we go. Dark, dark, dark. Try getting things in fewer brush marks whenever possible. Try to train yourself to be economic with your brush marks. Perfect. So now I want to add a layer of moss here. I think it'll be fun. So let's just mix a bit of green. I'm going to need a lot of paint because we're going dry brush. So here it is. Now here's the thing. You want to get a bit of a test paper for this. And you want to rid yourself of a lot of the paint on the brush, just to make sure you get a drier effect, okay? Maybe even dip it into the color directly. Let's see what we got here. See? This is the effect I'm after. This beautiful mossy thing. Now, this contrasts with what was there before, which was very blurry and very... See? It gives it some sharpness. It brings it closer to us, the viewer, pulls us into the painting. And keep it random. Keep it as random as you can. You don't want to get a pattern here. Okay, don't go like straight lines or anything like that. This is random. It's random moss or algae, I would say. It may be algae. I don't know. Let me know what that is. I love dry docks. And I think we'll just add a few of these to the back just to kind of fade them out. And I think we're good. We got this. Now this feels like this is water and this is sand, you see? I have to upgrade my camera. It looks so bad on the camera. Let me show it to you here. Maybe you'll see it better. See? I think it looks much better here. But you tell me. So let's see what you write, and then we'll get into the final stage of this one, just adding the details and everything. Quito is getting sleepy. It's 11:30, so you can go to bed if you want to. Let's see what we have here. Must be really nice to know the whole world watches the content. Yeah, it really is. It's pretty crazy. Very exotic here in the UK, says Dave. Yeah. Flowers. Hey, I'm trying to do watercolor myself, but I don't know what brushes to use. Anyone got any recommendations? My price range is under 20 bucks. To be honest with you, I would go with this one. Flowers, silver black, velvet. Here it is. You can get a set of these three. Sorry that it doesn't focus well. Let me show you here. For pretty cheap. Okay, silver, black, velvet. I recommend these. These are the cheapest, best brushes I ever used. They're really good quality, and they're cheap. And Christina Landis, not tiring. The more you work on this, the more beautiful it's getting. Thank you. La W, a couple of years ago, maybe you painted watercolor portraits of Tio Ichi and Jordan Peterson. Did you ever hear back from them? Also, who else would you paint? So here's the thing. It's very interesting. Tio actually saw it and sent me a message, and I sent him a message, and he said, thank you, it's really, really cool and beautiful. So he was really cool and really nice about it. Jordan Peterson is an incredibly busy man. He never answered to the email, but his dad did. His dad saw the painting, and we actually got in touch, and I framed it and packed it and sent it over to his dad where was it? In Canada? Something with a V, I think. I don't remember, but he has it. So I hope Jordan saw it. I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea. But his dad saw it and he really loved it. And he said I caught his essence and it was really nice. Who else will I paint? I don't know, a bunch of people, you know. I need to think about it because I don't usually do portraits of famous people, quote unquote. I usually do portraits of just randos on the internet, but we'll see. So Quito, get some sleep if you need to, and you can always watch this later. I'm going to keep this one up. Dave says for cheaper brushes, you may have to look at mixed synthetic for sure. Yeah, there are many mixed synthetic good ones. Zine says flowers Princeton and silver velvet. Yes, my recommendation: silver velvet, silver black velvet. Princeton's are good too. I had a few fails with them, but that's not really their fault. It's just it wasn't the type of brush I wanted, so they're okay. I recently purchased Princeton Neptune travel brushes. They are really good. Yeah, the Neptune line is good, and it's also beautiful. I like the way it looks with the emerald colors sometimes. You can use them at home or when you go out to paint. Evelina, if we send you our painting, should we talk about it ourselves, about colors, or why we did specific choices, or would it be better to just figure out the painting itself? Evelina, I would much appreciate it if you do tell me about the painting. I'd love that, so that way I can tell why you did it, and then maybe why I think it would have worked better differently, okay? If at all, maybe it's perfect because you wanted to do it. So I would actually rather you send me information with the painting you want me to review. Now, one thing I'm noticing when I'm comparing this to the reference photo is, look how much my colors are off. Like this blue should be much more muted, much more green, much lighter even. Now I figured out I should have started with lighter color and gradually went darker, but that's fine. That's part of it, and it's very, again, highly impressionistic. I changed a lot. I have a lot to improving. And again, talking and painting, it's a challenge. Let's see, what are we figuring out? Flowers, let me know that your message was retracted. Cynthia Zik, where are you located? Yeah, it depends on where you're located for sure. Gabraimovic says it looks beautiful. Thank you so much. That dry brushing is lovely. Thank you, Adrian. Zine says Amazon has silver black velvet. Really, yeah, I really recommend getting it on Amazon. 9:30 a.m. in Texas. Cool. Kit, I love your painting. Thank you. Avocado Loco. Avocado. That's funny. Looks good. Thank you. I'm going to skip some messages that are answering other messages. Let's see. Painting looks amazing. Thank you, Stephanie. Camera affecting quality for sure. Wow. Thank you, Maram Abuzanad. Thank you so much. Silver black velvet. Silver black velvet. A lot of people like silver black velvet brushes. Cotton brushes are cheap but good. Never tried. Not Vancouver in Canada. It was a different place. Where was it? I can't remember. Huh. I can actually find it. Let's just search for it. I'm going to search for it in my email. So here's the thing. I'm going to find it in 1 second because I can just search for Peterson, Canada. It wasn't Vancouver. It was somewhere else. Let's see. Let's see if I can find it real fast. Here we go. Alberta. It was Alberta. No V in there. Alberta. I'm so excited that I found it easily. So yeah, Alberta. Cynthia Zeke, brushes, rando stock photo models, exactly avocado. Yeah, okay, good. Let's finish this one up. Let's do this. So now is the stage where you just look at every section and you think to yourself, what do you need to add? What do you need to change? What do you need to, just improvements, quick improvements. So I'm gonna mix a bunch of dark paint, put a lot of blue here, put a lot of red. This is how I mix my dark colors, just blue, red, yellow. You can even find some shortcuts with obviously burnt sienna and French ultramarine. You can mix orange and blue, do produce very nice darks. Here's a nice shortcut for you. Use this dark green, Viridian, kind of emerald Viridian green. And use this red magenta color. You'll get a very nice dark shadowy color. See? That's a good one too. And now that I have this dark color, I'm going to start putting in some masks and some details like this. So we have this coming out of here, because I decided I'm just going to blend the base a bit. We have these beautiful details that I kind of got rid of in the process. That's fine. Now what this does is it adds a bit of depth and movement to the painting. You see how it just makes it look better. It's really hard to explain, but it just improves it. You see, all of these lines really do work. And then if you want to add some more of these riggings, that can help too. Some of them disappeared because I darkened the background, like so. See, this is where I just like to enjoy, go a little looser, have some fun, you know. The painting didn't turn out as I wanted necessarily, but that's great because I can use this opportunity to just, again, have some fun with it, add some movement to it, add some nice details here. Let's add that railing we talked about earlier. Let me wet these pens a bit so we can get better movement. I thought I heard thunder, but I don't think it's thunder. And here we go, we'll get that railing going, like this. The thing I like about maybe doing a portrait or some smaller thing that's more about light and dark, two values, is I can really dive into it and finish it. Like here I can just continue and continue. I can add highlights on top of this railing. It's just a lot. And when you said this looks like a complex reference that you wouldn't necessarily paint, there is some truth to that. It's not an easy one in a way, but if you simplify it, it is. And this is what I'm doing here. I'm really highly simplifying it, obviously. I changed like everything pretty much. The colors, even the placements I changed. Now when you stop, you get this effect. Let me show you. You stop and then you continue, you get like a knot in the rigging, which is a nice effect too. I'm gonna get one here too. Maybe a little too strong, but that's fine. What else? We have this detail around here, kind of a cap of some sorts, like this. Just adding them here and there, seeing what's missing, what would improve it, what would make it feel more solid. And again, I have a lot to work on. I have a lot of things to improve in this one, many of my paintings, but I'm fine, I'm learning. Let's see what we have here. That honestly the best would be to just turn on the camera and work very slowly and very patiently if you want to get a more accurate result. Now here's where it gets interesting. There are some, I'm considering what types of details I want to add here on the bottom of the boat. So let's see. I want to keep the flow, but I do feel like maybe I'll add a bit of darkness here. See? Just a bit of it can go a long way, especially on the right side, because it seems like light comes from the left. So this side should be a little more in the shadow, like that. See? And here at the very bottom, we do have, let me mix some of that water in here. Hopefully what I'm saying makes sense. We do seem to have some kind of a thing here. You see this? I don't know, it just adds a bit of solidness, you see? These quick lines here, I think they look really nice. Hopefully you see them well. Let me show you again in this camera. It just looks better, I don't know, see? And I did go a little too dark with the water. You can actually fix that, and I can show you, if you want me to show you how to fix the water at the back, we can do that. Let me know if you get tired with the process or if you want me to continue. I can fix some of these things that are a little, maybe a little too dark. I'll lighten them up in a moment, you'll see. So let me know if you want me to do that. This is a little too thick of a line, that's fine. I'm gonna add a bit of a shadow here. And there is this, I don't know what it is, but it's an object that goes like this. There's a bunch of details on top here, you know. There's a lot more details in the original reference. You have to understand a lot more. I can, as an experiment, do one that's closer to the source, maybe in a YouTube video. Let me know if that's something you're interested in. To show you the difference between these faster works and work that is maybe a little closer to the source. Let's see, what else? We do have a lot of these ropes, riggings going over the water, so we'll get these in. See, kind of like that. That's too strong, so I'll just do this. Get rid of some of that value here. We have a few like going around like this. This is nice too, like a snake kind of pattern. This one, you need a shadow for it. You get this thing, but the shadow is going to go like this. See, something like that. Hopefully that makes it look like kind of a shadow, like so. This one also needs a shadow, so I'll make this one better. I'll go like this. See, and this is where it meets the ground and it unites with the shadow basically. So let's make it darker in the shadow. Now let's switch to some opaque paint. Let's get some highlights going. And also maybe lighten some of these sections if you're fine with it. Let's see what you asked. Oh, we have Blanca Rodriguez from Peru. I love Peru. I visited Peru. I had a great time. Let's see. A bunch of brushes talk. Cheap Joe's. Learning makes things easier to do. That's where you learn and practice, for sure. I have a ton of cheap brushes. Blanca Rodriguez say hello from Peru. Thank you for this moment of art. Thank you so much, Blanca. Becky says I would start with just 1 or 2 round brushes. Definitely start with a few brushes. You don't need much. You don't need much. Flowers says I'm actually trying to do my own art YouTube channel. I post videos on this channel. Go ahead, do that. Go for that. Send me a link, or I'll just check it out afterwards. I'm going to take a screenshot. Failed at taking a screenshot. Let's see. Here we go. Small quill brush. Okay, brush talk. A lot of brush talk. Edze Jan Dehan says, just dropping in from work. Well, looks great. We live in the sea, and the nearest village has a fishing harbor. Don't really feel confident yet to tackle such a complex scene. If you can get there physically, go for it. I think it will be awesome. Don't worry about it. Just give it a try. Plein air has a magic, even if you feel like you're unready. If you can, if it's okay in your country to get outside, I suggest you give it a try. Just saying my name is pronounced Flower Z, not Flowers, Flower Z? Flower Z? Flower Z? I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Becky, I love your dry brush techniques. Thank you so much. Yeah, okay. So let's make the water lighter. Let's take that jump. Let's take that leap. I'm gonna give it a try. We'll see. So, okay, paint, PWC, Shinhan PWC, Jaune Brilliant. That's a warm-ish white paint. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna show you how I use it. And thank you so much, Evelina. I'm happy that you're okay with the length and that I'm keeping you company. That's great, especially if a lot of people are stuck at home. So here's the thing. I'm gonna dilute this white paint, and you see how opaque it is? Now let's add a bit of blue to that, like this. Now this is a little tricky. It's kind of more like acrylics. But I'm gonna paint with this over what I have here, and we'll see what kind of a result we get, okay? Let's give it a try, because I do feel like it could be lighter. Okay, so this is too dark. So let's add some more paint to it. See, it didn't change much. So I'll add more white to it, straight from the tube, like this. Now it's lighter, okay. So, and I'm gonna get rid of some of the top part, because I went over the wall that I added. Let's add some water. Now you have to understand it's gonna dry darker, not as light. With opaque paint, that's how it works. So I'm gonna put this, and we'll just start lightening up some of the water from behind the boat here. Let's see what it looks like. And this is opaque paint, so it's gonna cover up a lot of things. So you have to be a little careful. But if you do it right, you see how it just enhances the sense of light just a bit. I want to show you, because we have this opportunity now, I want to show you how I do all of these corrections, even though I'm like kind of repeating myself and doing, I'm going over the same area again and again, because it is a good opportunity to show you that the painting process is messy. It's not straightforward. It's not easy. Very often you'll have to improvise and figure out how to do things differently than you planned, or that you thought initially you were going to do them. Or then sometimes you'll just have to use a way or a method of work that you're unfamiliar with, you're uncomfortable with, you don't know how to do it. See? So this works out. I think this works out nicely. Let's add a bit more yellow, white directly to the paper. I know it's a bit crazy. I have done this same technique in a previous live. It's fun. Okay, so we made some parts of the water a little lighter. Did it help? Will it help? I don't know. Let me show you here again. See how the top sections are just a little bit lighter? So hopefully that will improve. Now, enough of that. Let's get to some of the highlights here. So let's see what we got. One of the things that popped the most for me is actually the riggings. These, see? You can see them through the shadow, and that's really important. So why not show them? Like this, you see? Trying to keep my lines organized. Same goes for this section. You see the part that's in the shadow. you can really show that nicely. See, like this. Maybe do a bit of a highlight for the knot up top here. See, like that. We need to add a bit of a highlight here as well. Like this, you see. It goes like that. Where else will we add some highlights? Let's see what pops when I look at it. Actually, not much. I wouldn't add much. Maybe, let's do this here. Look at this. Like that, and there is a very gentle highlight on the left here that I can see. Because the light comes from the left, you can tell by this shadow, it moves to the right. I can put these highlights kind of only on the left section and have like a corner that catches the light. I can do the same here, see? And hopefully that makes it look good in a way. Let's do another one like this. Now, one more place, and this will blend a bit because it's in the background. And one more thing is these masts, or whatever these are, especially for the main ones, like this one, get this kind of a thing going, have fun with it. See? Really makes it pop. Maybe even too much, but I'm fine with that. We have this part here that I completely lost. There's this communication device, I think, up top here, that it's important to show. And you know what? I think this is pretty much it. Let's make these a little more prominent. And we can go for those. I just talked about it earlier. We have one here. These highlights on the railings. If you really want to go accurate, you can put a few in the corners here. But obviously, it's based on something that's highly impressionistic, so it's not really that important. Sometimes it can even detract, so you have to be careful with it. Now, you do have to be careful with all of this step, generally speaking, to not overdo it, which is why I'm going to do maybe 1 or 2 brush marks, and I'm going to stop. So here we go. 1, 2, and I think I'm going to stop now. I'm going to stop. I'm going to call it done. The only thing that's left is to sign it, remove the tape. We're going to do everything here. So here we go. This person is very light. I'm going to keep it that way. I don't know, I like that it merges with the shadow. You know what, I thought of darkening it earlier. Should I darken it? Will it contribute? I think it will. Let's do that. It's the same as when I film my videos. I'm always like, this is done. Declare it boldly. And then I proceed to add more details. But that's fine. It's just this person. That's how it begins. Person in the shadow, like so, like this. There we go. That's actually really nice. I'm happy I did that. Now, just to make sure it connects with the shadow here, grab some water in your brush and help it blend. And we're done. We're really done now. So let me sign this one real fast for you. Now, I actually have a few signatures. The one I usually do with watercolor is just writing my name, but let me show you my other signature, like the main one, I shall say. Just don't forge it. Maybe I'll keep it a secret. You know what? I'm gonna keep it a secret. Never mind. I'll just do the normal signature. So here we go. Just gonna write my name like I always do. Now, here's a really off-topic thing, but when you sign your name, don't go too close to the corner. Preferably go more to the middle than I have, because when someone's going to frame it, it may end up almost cutting it out, so you don't want that to happen. So be courageous. Put it in big letters, more close to the center, okay? Like so. I really hope you enjoyed this process. Let's see some of your comments. We'll let it dry for just a few more moments, then we'll remove the tape, okay? Let's see what we got here. Do I even have more comments to go over? Yeah, so what kind of white paint is that you use? I'm using a watercolor. It's not gouache. It's a watercolor by Shinhan PWC. Jaune Brilliant. It's an opaque paint, as you can see by the square here. Opaque paint. It's a nice, warm white, which I really like. Almost pinkish, even. I would say, let me lower this a bit so you can see me. I'm gonna answer a few more comments. This is very Stephanie Corral. This is very helpful. I love seeing all the fixing tips. Thank you, Stephanie. I'm happy that it helps. Eldon Summers. Oh, car setup is actually pretty smart. Car setup? I forgot what we're talking about. Let's see. What did I miss? What did I miss? Becky. I think it's gouache. No, it's not gouache. As I said, Gabraimovic. Is it possible to show you my painting to ask for tips? Yes, send me an email, Gabraimovic. You can find my address on the YouTube channel, and I'll be happy to give you some feedback. M. Christine Landis. I am really old school, and I was taught to scrape these highlights out with a knife. Your looks great though, so I may have to try this method. Yeah, knife works. You can use an old credit card too if it's still wet. If it's not wet anymore, it may not work as well, so, which is why I use this paint. Sometimes I'll also use my white gel pen. That's another good way. Murad asks, do you know the CNCO group? Not. I don't know them. Yadukul A, nice painting. Thank you, Evelina. Yeah, but knife is cool as well. I use whatever technique feels better at the day. Yeah, definitely. Use whatever works for you and whatever you enjoy the most. I love the slight opaque touch at the end. And now look at this paint. It's bright, actually much darker. So I should have used more white. Just letting you know as a side note. Mr. Skaj or Sky. Right back at you. Thumbs up. Stephanie Corral, when you sell a piece, do you sell with a matte? When you say a matte, do you mean like the Passepartout square around it? No, I don't. I sell it as is, because usually the person will have it framed by a frame guy or gal. But sometimes, it depends. Sometimes people do just buy a frame. That can happen. I don't. Maybe it's a good idea. Maybe I should start doing that. I don't sell it with a matte, like with a white border or anything like that. Usually I leave enough white border for it to be natural, so you don't have to add one. But sometimes if the tape doesn't work as well, which it may not work as well here because it's a bit of a, it's not my usual tape, so you'll see there may be some bleeding alongside the edges. Maybe it's smarter to do that. Definitely a thought. Barb White, I just found out my grandson has COVID, pretty sick, asking for prayers. So everyone pray for Barb's grandson. I really hope he gets better as soon as possible, without any, like, symptoms, lasting symptoms. It's really bad. Yeah, it really is. It sucks. I hope he feels well. I know of a few people that got it here. It's just, if you can get over it and feel better, that's great. But once, like, there are side effects that last, that's the real problem. Like people with breathing problems and stuff like that, I hope, like, it can affect the lungs. Really praying, crossing fingers. I will pray after the live stream too. Daiju Shinomori sends hearts. Zine says hearts. Gabrimovic says will do. Thank you, everyone. Samyuktha Radhakir Krishnan says, sorry, can you repeat what it is if it's not wash? Yes, I'm going to write it down in the chat too. So it is PWC Shinhan John Brilliant Paint. So I wrote it in the chat, and you can find it there. Right out of the tube. Yes, exactly. Princeton Neptune brushes. Looks good. Love watching your vids. Thank you so much. Almost missed another live demo. Mark Ohio says almost missed another live demo. Glad I remembered to check. Stephanie is sending prayers. Avocado Loco sends love you. Yes, thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Let's do this. Let's remove the tape and get towards wrapping this one up. I really hope you enjoy this. I'm not gonna keep you waiting too long. Let's just give it a whiff with this thing, just for a moment to flatten it a bit. I find that helps, and then we'll remove the tape. Now here's the thing, I always find things to improve, obviously, so let me just go like that. So one of the things I feel like this is actually lacking in and could be improved in is the drawing stage. It really slipped by me. Some of the shapes are inaccurate, not as accurate as I'd want them to be. So from the get, there were some issues, but when I actually look at it like final, how it looks like in terms of final work, it looks good. I'm actually quite happy with it. These gaps could be better. This shadow should be smaller. So that's another slight mess up I made, but that's fine. One more thing, you know what? Let me try doing this. I'm gonna blend the sides of this shadow. Maybe a risk, I don't know, but I feel like they're a little too strong. So we'll do this, and then we'll use some paper towels. You see? See how that works? Just blend some of it out. You want to make sure you don't lift too much because you'll lift the yellow as well underneath, but that's fine. So in any case, let's do this. Let's remove the tape. And we'll hope it didn't bleed too much, the paint. So here we go. A bit of bleeding, but that's fine. It's not as bad as some of the other ones I've experienced. I used really wide tape for this one just to make sure that it holds it well, because this tape is not as good as my usual one again. But here we go. 2 left to go. Zine, about my email address, you can find it in the channel channel details. It's just liron@lironian.com. Okay, I'm gonna write it in the chat in just a moment. We'll remove the tape and then I'm gonna write it down for you, and you can see the final result. Let me make myself smaller here. There we go. Keep my proportions, or should I squash my... Oops, see, I'm causing trouble. Or should I squash myself? I'm gonna keep myself in proportions. Okay, sorry for fooling around. It's not the time. Let's do this. Dead air. Let's see. I taped it really well, so it's a bit hard to take it out, but here we go. I just want to show you the final result, and then we'll do some chit chat and wrap it up. Here we go. Final result. I really hope you enjoy this process. Very classic, kind of loose, impressionistic style. Something I'm trying to grow out of, not grow out of, but develop a little more, just so that it has more of me, because it is something that you can very often see many people paint. So here we go. Well, let me make myself larger. I want to show it to you properly. You know what? Let's do this. I'm just gonna go here. There we go. Okay, so hopefully you can see it a little better. If you want to, I can actually snap a photo. Maybe it'll get a bit of a better look. Let's try it out. Let's do it live. And while we're at it, feel free to ask me any questions that you may have. Where's my phone? There we go. I'm gonna take a picture. Let's see. Maybe it will just give you a better look at it. Like this. Sorry for moving the camera. Yeah, but it is quite a strange painting in a way. I can't really put my finger on it, but that's how it is. Like, every painting is unique. Now, the last time I did a live video, I could not for the life of me use AirDrop to transfer a photo from my phone to the computer. Maybe this time, yeah, this time it works. So I'm gonna add one now. Let's see. Plus image. Okay, and I'm gonna browse and I'm gonna bring it on, and you'll see downloads. Date modified. Oh, nice, I can't find it now. Did I cancel the transfer? Wait, I'm gonna do it again. Just one moment. Oh yeah, okay, I got it. I got it. Here we go. Now I'm gonna make it smaller. It's gonna block everything. Sorry about that. I have some work to do in terms of streaming and understanding what this software works like. But here we go. Hopefully you can see it. So just a bit of a better view of what it actually looks like. I think the colors are a little clearer in the photo, but let me know your thoughts. I think it works really well. It's been a fun one. It's been a fun one to paint. Just this is, okay, so this is a great example of my usual work. Something I'll do that isn't necessarily that amazing, but it isn't bad. It's a painting, and I like it. I like it. If you take a few steps back, you may get the impression a little better. Definitely too dark with the water. Let's get rid of it for a moment. Definitely too dark with, oh, got rid of myself. Definitely too dark with the water here. So again, a lesson to learn. I can go over it, make it lighter, but I think we'll call it done, especially now that we removed the tape. You can obviously put another one above it. But I don't know, I like it, and I think there is something nice about this section in particular, which is meant to be the focal point. So you get to see these nice, strong reds contrasting with these blues here and with the blues in the background. Obviously, one more tip I want to give you is the larger you work, the more room you have for finer details. I could have more room, obviously, here for final details, but very often I will find that, I don't know, I struggle a bit with them, and then I realize, oh, I'm painting too small. So that's another thing to take into consideration when you're painting. So let's do this. I'm going to leave this pick up on the air. I'm going to leave my face, and I'm just going to read some of the comments. Let me know if you have any closing questions, and then we'll wrap it up. I still have not gotten the chance to come on a spontaneous live. By the way, you see this thing here. I'll show you. I did an illustration. If you're following me on Instagram, you may have seen this one. I framed it for some of our friend. And here we go. So I don't know, it's just a fun one. I'm going to make myself larger for a moment. Yeah. Okay, here I am messing up. Here I am messing this up. Image, be gone. Here we go. So I don't know, I like how this one turned out. I did it initially on paper, and then I added one of my signatures, by the way, and then I added the effect, this lines on the software, on the computer digitally. Now you may recognize this pose. It's an actor, I forgot their name, but I used this picture as reference. I didn't change much. So yeah, this is an interesting one that I had fun with. Now on to you and the comments. I'm gonna make myself small again. I'm gonna put this so we can look at it as we wrap this up. I want to thank you all for joining. Thank you so much. Sorry for making this move. Let's see some final remarks. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for the compliments. I really appreciate it. I'm done one more thing. Becky says, yeah, all artists do that. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, I said I'm going to write down the email address. I forgot about that. Liron at Liron, yeah. And you can always find my email address in the channel details in the contact section. I believe there is one like that. Oh, that's strange. Okay. So, Samyuktha. Thank you, Liron. I'm Indian, and also my name is tougher to read. Yeah, I guess it's just getting used to it. I noticed that when I'm not doing a live, it's really easier for me to read, but as soon as I start doing the live stream, it's just harder to read things properly, just because I have to focus on a few things simultaneously. You know how it is. Let's see. Let's keep it like that. What do you tape your paper to? So this is just a piece of wood. I got this at the art store. They come in a variety of sizes, and I do see people ask what the size of this is. So let me tell you, I'm going to measure it for you. In centimeters, forgive me. The paper itself is around 19 centimeters on, that's 23, and then you get 26, 27, 28. So about 19 on 28. I think that's about A4 dimensions, if I'm not mistaken. Now I see that I did, here we go. So yeah, that's that. Josh Rosario says, very nice, thank you so much. Josh, I believe I also shared your painting in the video, so be sure to check it out if you missed it. Can we do more waves on the water? Yes, sure. I could do more ripples. I could take my time, do some wet and wet. I could pre-wet the background as well. Good call on modifying shadow. Thank you. Becky, I'm done. One more thing. Cubs win. Size of paper, I just said it. Dave Lowe, I hear you, Becky. Edze Yan Dehan. Very enjoyable. As a latecomer, I'll go back to look from the start. Thank you so much. I hope this will be entertaining after it's done. Murad, have an awesome day and bye or night. Bye-bye. Fareed Tarzi, perfect as always. Thank you, Roseanne Lowy. Thank you so much. Thank you, M. Christine Landis. Thank you, Becky. Yeah, the colors are much better on camera. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Samyukta. Thank you, Cynthia. Looks so great. I'm glad you did this subject. I did a similar one with another workshop online, and it was just frustrating, not enough details. This looks great. Yeah, you really have to. I think the thing about details, and I actually had this problem when I got started, I could not get enough details in. And it wasn't even the size, it was just me not taking things step by step. So what I would recommend is start from the big shapes. Just get the big shapes done. Then work on the medium shapes. Like big shape is all of the water. Medium shape is the shadow here, the shadow there. Small shape is the details. If you start like this and you work in that manner, you will gradually build up all the details you need. If you start from the beginning, it's very hard to get to figure out just how many details are necessary, you know. Let me know if you're interested in something a little different. So here's a thought. It's going to be a challenge for me, but what if I do a live when I paint a much slower, more accurate version of a painting, and I kind of go silent for most of the time? Because when I look at the reference photo, I could work much slower on it and get it to look obviously more accurate and more close to the original. Let me know if you're interested in that kind of a thing, like just working slower, talking less, once like every 15 minutes, raising my head, looking at some of the comments. Let me know. I can just do like a thing where I paint and kind of show it, even when it's super slow. Let me know. Jackie Megan, it's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jackie. Evelina, awesome, really nice. Thank you very much for the lesson. My pleasure. Sally Finch, I love your last touch to make the person in the shadow a little darker. Perfect touch. Thank you so much. OBS can be confusing. It is, yeah. Do you live stream, Stephanie? Cyan Petnik. Oh, wow, it looks so much better. Thank you. Stephanie, gorgeous. Adrian, beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you, Becky. I think the darkness looks good since the one boat is so bright. It's a good contrast. Yeah. So a part of changing the scene to make the focal point a little punchier, I guess. So it's kind of fewer details in the background, and darker makes this pop, for sure. You could always say you did it on purpose, right? But yeah. Adrian, I always paint too small. Yeah, try bigger. Try it. It may surprise you how much easier it is. Avocado Loco, yeah, I definitely painted too small sometimes, for sure. Nice foreshortening challenge. Yeah, the person is really foreshortened. Dave Lowe says thank you. Thanks, Liron. Thank you so much, Dave. Beautiful painting. Liron will do this painting. Vinodini Dinesh. Thank you, Dinesh. Or Vinodini. I think Dinesh is the first name. Let me know. Eldon Summers. I really want to paint now, but also feeling very lazy. Go with it. If you want to paint now, go with the flow now. Sally Finch, would you be able to do a live plein air? Oh, that will be great. I should do that. We'll do it. We'll get it done. I can do it with just my phone. Yeah, I'll try doing something like that. And once every while, checking it on the chat and seeing what you write. Obviously, I won't be able to talk as much, but it sounds like a great idea. I'd watch that. I like real-time videos. Thank you, Becky. I may mix it up, do some longer ones as well. Eldon Summers, would you consider doing a stream where viewers paint along? Yeah, sure. So how would that look like? Do you mean like actually bring people on and show them? That's something I need to figure out how to do, like streaming with other people. But I will get it done. I do want to do some more streams with other people. By the way, if you have any idea for people that I could go live with and do more of a conversational format, let me know. Obviously, I have a few ideas, but it could be interesting. We'll figure it out. Stephanie says I did a Facebook Live once. Oh, yeah. Okay, so you tried it out. You had a trial by fire, really, with OBS. Really is, but you'll learn and improve from day to day. Harihara Sudhan S. When is the next live? The next live is going to be probably next week, next Thursday. Every Thursday I try doing these. So tune in, same hour for now. I do hope to do a spontaneous one. I've yet to do that, even though I said I'll do it many times. Roseanne, sounds good to watch you paint as you would without giving step by step. Yeah, exactly. So this is the part of what I want to do. Harias Sudan, thank you so much for wanting to tune in next time. And don't worry, I'll keep the live up so we can watch it after the fact. But I will try doing one again next Thursday. I want to try Twitch, Stephanie says. Yeah, I tried it for a bit. I didn't really like it, but I may try it out again too. So, I don't know. Twitch is great. A lot of people on the platform. Elden Sar says, no, I just mean everybody painting the same thing while you're live and then sharing afterwards, like a community thing. Oh, yeah, that could be cool. Yeah, so it's something I guess I'll have to say in advance, like get ready to paint. I'll send even the reference in advance. You can get your drawing done or whatever it is. Yeah, that could be fun. Maybe you should contact Etcher Lab to do a live demo. I actually talked to them, I believe, before via email. I'll look into it. It's a good suggestion, I think. So yeah, I think this is it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you enjoyed seeing this process. Just a typical painting in a way, which is the best, I think. And hopefully I'll be able to, what I really hope to be able to do is get another really good one, like one that will surprise myself, like, whoa, it's so good. Kind of like the one I did, let me show you my face. Hey there. Kind of like, you hear this? Someone rang the bell, and now Ruth is barking. But in any case, yeah, I hope to get another really, really good one done. Do I have a painting I want to share with you? Something recent that's really good. I don't know. Maybe I'll share a different time. I'll share in the next live. But yeah, hopefully I'll manage to produce more of these and get the beautiful, realistic, but kind of loose impression that I always love to go for. I think next week will be a portrait, so something a little easier for me to interpret just where the light is, where the shadow is. I'll probably draw it in advance because, again, it's a bit too challenging for me, but I could let you know what the reference is, as always, and have you sketch and paint along with me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I hope you're feeling well. I hope you're watching out, staying safe, staying inside whenever necessary. My prayers to everyone who isn't feeling well, health-wise, or also just psychologically being stuck inside and all of that. I know it's really hard for many people. And I'll do my best to keep you company as much as I can. Here I will try and get an Instagram live soon as well. Hopefully I can do that. And yeah, this is it. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm gonna wrap it up for today. Take care, and we will talk real soon.